Hello, hello, hello. Welcome. I hope everybody has been having a great week and a great day. I hope that you've been having fun following our Oz release. Hello, Kelly. How are you today? Welcome. I'm really excited. So I have to say, I didn't get to play with it as much as I wanted to before last night. I'd gotten just a little bit of time last week, and then last night I was able to finally just sit down and play, and oh my goodness, the ideas just kept coming, and I had more ideas than I had time. So I am looking forward to another weekend of creating because there are so many fun things in this release. If you love the Wizard of Oz, especially, you are going to love this release. So what I want to show you today, first I'll just show you what I created last night. Just so you get an idea. And I haven't even touched really like the main characters too much. There's only one card that really has any of our little protagonists. Okay, so the first card that I made was I colored the ruby slippers. And I had so much fun. I enjoy coloring. I am one of those people who loves to color. And so it was really fun to experiment. It's a fun way to practice because it's a nice big stamp and it gives you plenty of real estate to do that with. And I do apologize, sound is a little off. We are a little bit of stormy weather here. So keep me posted on whether or not you're able to hear. All right, so you can see I used some of the awesome glitter stock. So there are 3 glitter stocks that released with this release. Ah, where's my red one? I pulled it aside. There it is. So we've got the Yellow Brick Road, Ruby Slipper, and Emerald City. And these are so fun to work with. I really love our glitter stock, and I had a great time playing with these. So then you can see I used that there, and I used also our conversation clippings. And it says, you always had the power. I'm sorry. I know I'm having a hard time getting it to focus. So just a really fun card. And then I did use some of our yellow brick sequins as well. All right, next card I'll show you is, I'll show you this one. So I created one with, this is paper from the Over the Rainbow paper pad. And then I used There's No Place Like, oops, wrong one. I used the Best of Friends stamp set to get our little Dorothy and our little Toto, and then our Emerald City. And so I've got those fun little guys. And then I just created a shaker. I used the Emerald City sequins. And then this little heart, I die cut. It's actually, there's a stamp as well in the There's No Place Like Home stamp set, but I just used the coordinating die to create that little heart. And again, my conversation clippings, and this one says, follow your heart. So this one was a really fun one to make and really simple. And then this one was fun. I used our little fairy forest. I can't remember the name of that. Darren, do you remember offhand? Enchanted Forest or something like that. I'm sorry, I don't remember off the oh, hang on. I found the thing. Fantastic Forest. Okay, I used our Fantastic Forest color card panel, and then I used the Witch stamp set to create this fun little witch. And then I just had this little jewel that I used because I thought it looked like a crystal ball, so it kind of cracked me up. So I used that. And then I used some of the fabulous fibers in Halo. So this was kind of funny. And then this says, happy birthday, my pretty. So that was kind of a fun sentiment to use from the conversation clippings. All right. And I'm not seeing a lot of chat, so either you guys are quiet or we are Or do we have connection issues, Darren?
No.
Nope, we're all good?
Yeah.
Okay. Well, speak up if you're here. Okay, so this card is the one that I created using, I used this paper, this pretty poppy paper. I knew I had to make a card with that the second I saw it because it's so pretty. That's also in the Over the Rainbow paper pad. And then these pretty poppy flower dies are new to this release. So I used those to create the flowers, and it says you'll always have a friend in me. And I embossed that in our Tin Man, and I used the Tin Man aqua pigment to kind of just put some what's the word? Splatter. Oh, thank you, Kelly. You're so sweet. I appreciate it. And I'm glad you're vocal. Thank you for commenting. And then these little guys right here, if you're not familiar with these are the, oh, what are they called? The acrylic bubbles, and those ones are the metallic silver. I thought I pulled them, but I don't see them, so I must have put them away. So those are also just a fun touch. And so that one's just a fun card. Okay, so now I think I showed you, there's 4. So now I won't show you the last one I made yet because that's the one we're going to make right now. So we're going to use, this is the Chasing Rainbows stencil, and we are going to start with that. And I just went ahead and masked off the bottom of it. This piece of paper is 3 3/4 by 5. And I'm just going to put a little bit of pixie spray on the back of my stencil, just because we've got these little thin dividers, and because we're going to be doing some ink blending, I don't want to have them move a lot on me. Okay. So now let's go ahead and start our ink blending. So I'm going to use our new, well, they're kind of new. I guess we've had them for a little bit now, but I'm going to use the paper for the poppies is from the Over the Rainbow paper pad. And I will show that to you really quick because there are so many beautiful papers in this. So here are the poppies right off the bat. And look at these great bubbles. Those are really fun. I've seen some really cool things from the team. Oh, hello, Christopher. I've seen some really fun things from the team using the bubbles. And then you've got your hearts and your rainbow. You've got your tornado. You've got your really cool faux glitter in both the red and the green. You've got your yellow brick road, which we will be using on this card, and the corn. And then also there's one that I've used a couple times, so we didn't see it right away, but this is the Emerald City kind of look. And then the other side has got the gingham. So we are going to use some of that as well. Christopher, I just showed all of the cards except the one I'm making. This one, I wanted to show that one to you because it was so fun. It worked so well with the card panels. You had a food truck. Oh, yum. That sounds good. So anyway, I will get to it. All right. So we're going to ink blend our rainbow. So I'm first going to use our little blending brush with Simon Hurley ink. All of the inks I'm going to use today are Simon Hurley, and this is my very favorite yellow. This is Shooting Star. It's a great bright yellow, and that's always the first color I use, just because it's the one that is the lightest, and it just makes sense to me to use it first. So I'm just going to go through and kind of color along, and I'm okay if it kind of blends over the sides. especially because yellow is going to get covered up, but really any of them are fine. It kind of adds a cool touch.
Camera's pretty blurry, Shannon.
Oh, the camera is kind of blurry. I wonder if I need to back up. Let me back up just a little bit. Let's see if that helps. Sorry about that, guys. So I used the paper pack poppies for the ones popped up. The ones that you saw on the poppies, the ones that are popped up are actually not from the paper pad. These are a die that also was released. It's the poppy flower die. It's a standalone die set. So these are not from the paper pad. They're from their own die set. And they are really user friendly. So I highly recommend them, especially if you're kind of on the fence about making flowers. I think the thing that makes flowers look good is when they have some dimension to them and they have some movement. And it was really easy to work with this set. You bet, Kelly. Okay, so back to our blending. I went 3 rows down for our, I'm going in rainbow order, so. And I like a lot of ink because I like really vivid color. All right, but I think we're good there. So we will go on to the next color. We are going to do bee sting next because I figure the orange will blend between the two of them. So we'll do bee sting for the outer ring, I guess you call it. It's not quite a ring. Arch, I don't know. You know what I'm saying though, right? And this brush, I love this blending brush. It's just the right size because it covers a decent amount, but it also gets the little nooks and crannies that it's hard to get with the bigger blending brushes. And if you don't want to go back and forth, you can even just tap it. And it makes it a little easier to get a little bit more intense color on there quicker, which is a good idea when you're live, right? Okay, so we've got our bee sting done. So now let's move on to Guppy. And this is just kind of it's almost a yellow orange, but not quite. It's, I don't know. Yeah, I guess it's more of a true orange now that I look at it. And you can see I totally went over the line, and guess what? It's okay for a couple of reasons. One, there's going to be something right there on the card, so it's not going to matter anyway. And secondly, because it just blends and it looks nice. So it's okay if your rainbow stripes go over the edge a little bit. This is a user-friendly card. I am not a super precise person, so hopefully that works for you because that's how I got to do it. Anything that is very forgiving is my favorite. Okay, so we've got that on there. Let's use, I'm going to grab my yellow brush again really quick just to smooth that out just a little bit. Since we did kind of go over the edge, I do like to just kind of blend that color in a little bit more. Just so the yellow is sitting a little closer to the top, if that makes sense. Okay, so now we'll move on to Clear Skies, my very favorite Simon Hurley ink color. And that we're going to skip a row and we'll do Clear Skies right here. All right, so let's kind of tap. Let's see if we can get it moving a little quicker. And this happens to be my favorite color. So I like it nice and vivid where I can see it nice and bold. Okay, so now we will move on to our next color, which is going to be Crown Me, which is going to go in that innermost circle. This one's the easiest one to blend because I can just go right over the stencil and not worry. Okay, so now we're on our green, which is Later Gator. And this is a pretty true green. I love this green. It's just a happy color. If you haven't used Simon Hurley inks, you really need to give them a shot because they are really beautiful colors. I really love how vibrant they are. They're really versatile. And they all have great names, as you may have noticed. And Simon Hurley, I believe, just celebrated his birthday the other day. Okay. Almost got it. Just got to get that little spot right there. This brush, I think I must have let it dry in a weird way because this one is kind of giving me trouble. None of my other brushes are doing that, but this one is. I think I'll wash that one out after. And for now, let's just use a different one. I have a spare. Just so we can get a little bit more control. Oh, look at that. That's much better. Yay. Looks like it's time to clean that other one out. I don't clean my brushes very often. I really don't typically find it necessary, but like I said, I must have done something wonky with that one. Okay. Just want to get up in there. We want to make sure it's an arch, a very solid arch. Okay, got it. Last color is No Diving. And this is a great blue. And this one is pretty, like the color saturates pretty fast. So I'm going to just use what's on my brush first. And then we'll just kind of brush it in. All right. We have got our rainbow ready to go. So let's do the big reveal. Yay, our rainbow is ready. Okay, so now I'm just going to use the Clear Skies brush that I was using earlier, and I'm just pushing out some of the ink that was already on it, just to give us a little bit of sky. And I'm not doing anything very...
Candy said hi.
Well, hi, Candy. How are you? I was just playing with the Chasing Rainbows stencil. And now we're ready to move on to the next part. And if you are not sure about having your colors like this, you can actually spritz it and it kind of blends them a little bit more. In fact, let's really lightly spritz it and see what we think. There it is. All right, so I just used one of my old squeaky cleans that's empty. All right, so I barely spritzed it. Had to do it away from the camera to make sure that I didn't spray everything that I have ready to go. But see how it just kind of makes the color expand out a little bit, and it just kind of softens it a little bit. I kind of like that about it. I'm going to do it one more time And I'm going to just dry my paper a little bit. And if you want to have it, the color just bleed out a little bit more into the other colors more, you can add more water. It's just kind of up to you what you like to do. You can create your own ending. All right, I think that's good enough. All right, so the next thing I'm going to do, oh, thank you, Darren. I didn't even mention, thank you, Darren, for all of your moderating and making life easy for us. Okay, just gonna wipe this off so I don't end up putting something in it that I don't want there. Okay, so I cut a piece of the yellow brick road paper from the Over the Rainbow paper pad. The other side is that cute sequin paper. And I'm just going to add that to the bottom of my card panel. So I'm just going to use my Barely Art glue. I cut it to, it's 5 inches wide, and it's just about 1.5 inches, give or take. I just went with where the bricks were so that it would be, what was that? I did it so that the bricks would be even and I wouldn't have like half bricks. So it might not be exactly 1.5 inches. All right, so the next thing we're going to do is let's go ahead and add a mat to this. Okay. So we're just going to add that to our mat. We'll center it as best we can. Okay. So now we've got the base of our card ready to go. We can actually even put that on the card base itself. This is one of our pre-scored, pre-cut A2 card bases, and I absolutely love them. Now that I've been spoiled with them, I will never go back. And they do, you get 5 of them in the inspiration box each month. So if you make more cards than that a month, then you can also buy them separate. But it's nice to have them every month. I know I'll have a few at least. Okay. So we are well on our way now. Okay, so I actually, when I saw everything for this release, I really wanted to play. Oh, I know why I was waiting. Oh, well, that's okay. All right, I have a solve for this. So I actually wanted to have the ruby slippers from the odds and ends stamp set or die set, but I wanted to use the basket from our picnic set because you see, I mean, one of the iconic things about Dorothy is that she's always got that cute little basket. And so we're going to incorporate that into our card. So I've already got it all cut out. We just need to assemble it. So we're just going to, I just used a couple of shades of tan so that it would look more like we could get some depth and it would look more like a basket weave. And then I'm not too worried about where it lines up on this side because we are going to cut it down a little bit. Oops. I was a little with the glue. Let's try that again. That's down too low. Sorry about that. Okay. Now we'll just add our little lip of our basket, the little trim piece. And I just lined it up so that the other part doesn't show through, so that the grid part doesn't show through the holes. But really, we're not going to see the holes anyway, so I'm not too concerned about it. But if you are more of a stickler than I am, you might care about that. Okay. So I don't think we're even going to need this other handle, so I'm going to put that to the side. Now, really what would have been better is for me to place this on my panel before I got everything down. But because I already created this card once, I have the piece I cut off to give me a guide, but you can kind of see about where I'm going to cut that off now. But yes, I suggest if you recreate this card that you put it on your panel and then cut the side. Well, hello there, Misfit Crafter. Welcome. Okay, so I'm just going to cut that down. So we're not going to need the whole basket. The next thing I'm going to do is I just have a little hexagon die set, and I wanted to have a little cloth. And even though I don't know what color the cloth is, I don't know that it's any color of real note, but where this has the gingham that looks like, sorry, my dogs are going crazy. They wouldn't be alive without my dogs saying hello. Hey, you guys, cool it. Anyway, so what I did was I as a nod to Dorothy's dress. Darren, do you think you could get Benji to get the dogs out of here, please? So I just took the hexagon and then I folded it in half. So I promise my dogs aren't killing each other. They're just playing, but their timing is wonderful. They're just like kids. Hey, you guys, go play somewhere else. Thank you, Ben. Ben rescued us. Ben got the dogs. He's going to entertain them. Sorry about that. Okay, so what I wanted to do was I wanted to add a little bit more depth. So I actually am going to add a foam square to the fold that's going to be on the front. Actually, I'll do two just because it's easier. Thank you, Ben. And also, we'll add some glue to this side because this side is going to go on the back. So I am just going to take this all the way to the end. And really, you could even go further out if you wanted to, if you don't want the stitches to show, but I'm not that sticklery. Okay, so now we've got our little basket all set up. And honestly, you don't really see too much of the handles. So if you want to see them, you could just extend it out beyond where the little hole is, or I wouldn't worry too much about it. I'm not going to worry too much about it. Hey, stop.
Benji, come get the other two.
They are riled up about something. They're excited about the Oz release too, I guess. Okay, so now I want to show you something kind of fun. I was like, okay, her little dog Toto is always in her basket, but the scale wasn't quite right to use the stamp. So what we're going to do is in the Odds and Ends die set, there's all the pieces to make the little flying monkey. And these pieces are for a little vest. Let me show you what it looks like when it's all put together. But I took the bigger part of the vest. I cut it out twice, just like I would if I was doing a vest, right? So I cut it out of black, and we're going to use these for ears. Okay? So then I just have a little hole punch that cuts squares. So just so that it looks more like ears, we're going to just cut a little square in half diagonal. And you don't probably have to go to this much detail, but you know, I just wanted to make sure you could tell they were ears. And I'm just going to use my little pin to help me place my little triangle since they're teeny tiny pieces.
Susan says hi.
Hi, Susan. How are you?
Watching from Newfoundland, Canada.
Ooh, nice. My husband, Darren, is actually Canadian. He is, where are you from, Darren?
The other side of the country.
He's from the other side of Canada. He lived in several places, so I'm never sure which one to say. But we like Canadians at our house. I'm glad that you caught me live. I'm going live again. I usually go live on Friday nights at 7. This Friday, Christopher is going to be doing a crafty roulette. And so I am sure we'll have some links up for that so that you can watch that. And then I'm going to go live. I'm going to go live on Saturday instead so that people who want to watch both will be able to watch both and not have a conflict. And so that way we can all see both, because I want to see the crafty roulette. Okay, so we're just going to have those peeking out like Toto's in the basket. And then just to drive it home that those are ears, we'll just add a little bit of fuzz around them. Okay. Just let the dogs out, honey. And maybe curl them over. Oh, we got to wait till it's dry. I got a little anxious. Let me move it a little bit. And then I'm just going to kind of curl them over just a little. And you can probably still hear my dogs, even though they're outside. They are on one. I don't know what is up, but they are crazy. Okay, so then now what we want to do, you're a little chilly. You haven't gotten your summer yet. We go back and forth. We're definitely having some spring right now. We're having a lot of rain here in Texas. Okay, so I've got the ruby slippers from the Oz and Ends set. And then I cut those out of the beautiful ruby slipper glitter stock. So that made that very simple to make really pretty little authentic looking ruby slippers. So I'm just going to go along this little thin line. There we go. Thanks, Jenny. How's Italy, Jenny?
That's what you're doing.
Sorry, I'm going to move this down a little bit. Maybe that will help. Maybe that will help me work higher. Sorry about that. Oh, thanks, Kate. I didn't see you there. Thanks for joining. Okay, so before I put the slippers on, I also have bows that I want to add to those. So I'm going to move them so I don't forget. And I want to, one of the dies that I absolutely love in this set is the There's No Place Like Home die. And it cuts out really nice. But one thing I like is because it's as thin as it is, the letters are pretty flexible. So we're going to put our saying kind of on though. So first, I think what I'll do is start from the other side because that's where it kind of gets tricky. I am sorry that my dogs are so crazy today. Okay, so we'll start with home, and I'm just going to use our orange rainbow stripe to kind of get it on there. There's no place like home. Just making sure I put it in the right order. It would totally not surprise me if I put it in the wrong order. So we'll just start out this way. Let's see. There's kind of space it out ahead. Place. Okay, we have a little bit more wiggle room than I thought, so that's good. Let me move up where you can see me. So have you had a chance to look at the whole release yet? Have you checked out the website? Oh, hi, Gina. How are you? Hey, we're just glad you're here. We're not formal around here. We're just glad you come when you come. Okay, so we are almost there with our sentiment. I'm telling you, that little pin is coming in handy. Okay, so now we've got our sentiment all placed on there. Oh my goodness, I was trying to put the pin back in my Barely Art glue and I couldn't see well enough. It was a little ridiculous. Okay, so now I'm just going to use one of my mini glue, or not glue, but foam squares. And I'm just going to cut some really thin little strips because I want there to be a little bit of dimension on my bows when I put them on the shoes. Let's go this way or this way? It goes this way. Let me make sure I took off the backer. There we go. So we're just going to place that right on the shoe. And if you get confused and you're not sure how to put it on, just look on the back of your dies because it shows you how to assemble everything. Or at least it shows you what it looks like when it's all assembled. Okay, and then we'll put our last little foam. Do I have the backer off of both sides? When they get this skinny, it's a little tricky. And I have big hands, so makes me feel sometimes like I'm all thumbs. Okay, so now let's put some foam on the other side so that we can add that to our card. Oh, thank you, Misfit. I guess it's okay to call you that.
Sounds like a cool name to me.
Darren likes that name. It strikes a familiar chord, right?
Yep. That's the bomb.
Okay, so now we will add our little ruby slippers to about
His name is Monique.
Monique. Okay, I will try to remember that when I see you on next time. Okay, so I think that completes our card. Just, I think I would maybe curl the ears a little bit before you put them on because they're a little pointier than if I had just used my crease tool to curl them over a little bit. But yeah, I think it was a pretty fun card to do and very, very, very simple, really. Takes a little time, but it's really not a hard card to assemble. So I hope that you enjoyed that, and I hope that you will continue watching. We have Candy is going to be on in about an hour, and maybe a little bit more than an hour, and then Gina will be on after her, an hour past that. So definitely stay tuned. We have lots of fun projects, and I am telling you what, there are so many fun things in this release. The ideas are still just going, and I didn't even send my samples in yet because I wanted to save on the shipping, and I was like, oh my goodness, I have way too many ideas still, and I want one more weekend. Is that okay? So definitely check out the whole release on the Brutus Monroe channel. Thank you so much. And I will see you. I will also be live, like I said, on Saturday. So join me on Saturday, same place, only at 7 Central. So 8 o'clock Eastern. Thank you so much. Have a great day and a great weekend. Bye-bye.